Picture this. It is 3 a.m. The house is completely silent. You're trying to get some well-deserved sleep, but suddenly your cat bolts upright. Their pupils dilate until their eyes are entirely black. They slowly turn their head and start staring intently at an empty corner of the ceiling. You look. There is nothing there. Not a bug, not a shadow, absolutely nothing. But your cat is locked in, tracking something invisible as it seemingly moves across the wall. Does this sound familiar? Be honest. How many times have you asked yourself, is my cat seeing a ghost? Or did their internal software just crash? Well, fellow cat parents, you are not alone. We all love our little fuzzy weirdos, but their behavior can be downright terrifying sometimes. Think they are doing it just to mess with you? Think again. Today we are unlocking the ultimate feline mystery. We are going to reveal the 11 strange, invisible, and mind-blowing things that your cat can see and hear that you are completely oblivious to. By the end of this video, you'll realize your cat isn't crazy. They're just a superhero. Drop a comment right now with your cat's name and the weirdest thing they stare at. Before we dive into the invisible world, we need to talk about what exactly a cat is. Sure, to you, they are a fluffy little potato that sleeps 16 hours a day, demands expensive wet food, and prefers the cardboard box over the $50 cat tree you bought them. But biologically speaking, cats are nature's ultimate, perfectly engineered apex predators. They are solitary hunters designed to operate in low light, track tiny prey in dense brush, and survive in environments that would leave us humans completely helpless. Over millions of years, their senses have been fine-tuned to an almost supernatural level. While we humans rely on our big, complex brains and highly developed daytime vision, cats rely on raw, hypersensitive input. Their eyes, ears, and noses are basically high-tech military surveillance equipment stuffed into a very cute, purring package. When you look around your living room, you see a boring, quiet space. When your cat looks around that exact same room, they are stepping into a vibrant, noisy, high-definition action movie. They are literally experiencing a reality that we cannot even begin to comprehend. So, let's peel back the curtain and see the world through their glowing little eyes. Let's kick things off with strange thing number 1, the psychedelic world of ultraviolet light. Did you know that your cat's vision is basically a continuous rave party? Humans have lenses in our eyes that act like built-in sunglasses, blocking out ultraviolet light to protect our retinas. But cats? They don't have this UV filter. Their lenses allow ultraviolet light to pass right through to their retinas. This means that cats can see a whole spectrum of colors and patterns that are entirely invisible to the human eye. To them, the world is glowing with hidden neon signs. Things that look completely dull and flat to us, like a plain white sheet or a piece of copy paper, might glow brightly or display crazy patterns to your cat. It's similar to walking into a room with a black light turned on, except this is their everyday reality. Scientists believe this evolved to help them track prey in the wild, as many biological materials absorb or reflect UV light differently. So when your cat is staring at a seemingly blank piece of fabric on your sofa, they might actually be admiring a glowing, psychedelic masterpiece that you can't even perceive. But wait, there is a slightly gross yet fascinating side to this ultraviolet superpower. Because cats can see UV light, they can also see biological markers with crystal clarity. Yes, we are talking about urine, blood, and other bodily fluids. In the wild, mice and other rodents leave tiny trails of urine as they run through the grass. To a human, this is completely invisible. But to a hungry cat, it looks like a glowing neon highway leading straight to dinner. This also explains why your cat might be obsessed with a very specific, seemingly clean spot on your carpet. Maybe another pet had a tiny accident there 3 years ago. Or maybe you spilled a biological substance. You scrubbed it, and to your human eyes, it's gone. But to your cat, that stain is still screaming in bright, fluorescent colours. They can literally see the history of the house painted on the floors and walls. So the next time your cat gives you a judgmental look while sniffing the rug, just remember, they can see exactly how good of a job you actually did with that carpet cleaner. You can't hide your lazy chores from a creature with blacklight vision. Moving on to strange thing number 2, ultrasonic rodent chatter. If you think your hearing is good, prepare to be humbled by your cat. Sound is measured in hertz, which indicates the frequency of the sound waves. A healthy human can hear sounds up to about 20,000 hertz. Dogs, famous for their great hearing, top out around 45,000 hertz. But cats? Your little couch potato can hear frequencies up to an astonishing 64,000 hertz. This means they are tuned into an entirely different acoustic world. And what exists in this super high-frequency realm? The secret conversations of rodents. Mice, rats, and even some insects communicate with each other using ultrasonic squeaks and clicks that are way above our human hearing range. They think they are being sneaky, chatting away in secret codes. But your cat hears every single word. It's like your cat is wearing a wiretap and listening to the secret radio frequencies of the local mouse mafia. Every squeak, every scurry, every tiny argument over a piece of cheese is broadcasted directly into your cat's radar dish ears. This ultrasonic superpower perfectly explains one of the most confusing cat behaviors. Have you ever seen your cat sit down and intensely stare at a blank wall, or press their ear against the baseboard for 20 minutes straight? You probably took a video, laughed and thought, "Yep, the orange cat lost his single brain cell again." But in reality, your cat is doing a highly specialized pest control inspection. Inside those walls, behind the drywall that looks so solid to you, there might be a family of field mice, a colony of carpenter ants, or a single fat beetle trying to navigate the insulation. You hear absolute silence. Your cat hears a bustling, noisy metropolis. They aren't staring at nothing. They are actively tracking the exact location of a hidden intruder, based purely on microscopic, high-frequency sound waves. So, instead of laughing at them, you should probably be thanking them for their diligent security work. Though it would be nice if they could actually reach the bug instead of just letting you know it's inside the wall. Let's shed some light on strange thing number 3. The flickering of fluorescent lights and screens. This one will completely change how you view your modern home. To understand this, we need to talk about something called the critical flicker fusion frequency. This is the rate at which a flashing light appears to be a steady, continuous beam to the brain. For humans, this threshold is relatively low. When a fluorescent bulb or a television screen flickers at about 50 to 60 times a second, our slow human brains blend it all together into a smooth, solid light. We don't see the flashing. But a cat's visual processing speed is much, much faster than ours. Their flicker fusion threshold is significantly higher. This means that the cool, modern fluorescent lighting in your kitchen or the LCD screen of your expensive television doesn't look steady to them at all. To your cat, those lights are pulsing, flashing, and strobing like a 1990s disco club. They can physically see the electricity pulsing through the bulbs, creating a rapid-fire visual stutter. Imagine trying to relax, eat your dinner, or take a nap in a room where a heavy strobe light is constantly blasting. You'd probably get a headache and leave the room, right? Well, this explains why your cat might absolutely refuse to hang out in certain rooms of the house, even if you put their favourite bed in there. If that room has older fluorescent tubes or certain types of LED lighting, it might literally be driving them crazy with a visual flicker you can't even see. It also explains why some cats love to attack televisions or iPads. While you are watching a smooth, high-definition nature documentary, your cat might be seeing a rapidly flashing sequence of distinct images, making the birds on the screen look even more jittery and provocative. So, if your fluffy overlord seems inexplicably annoyed in your home office or the laundry room, it might not be your company they are avoiding. They might just be trying to escape the invisible, exhausting light show that modern human technology has created for them. Now for strange thing number 4, microscopic dust mites and floating particles. Have you ever watched a sunbeam filter through the window, highlighting thousands of tiny dust motes dancing in the air? As humans, we only really notice this dust when the lighting is absolutely perfect. Otherwise, the air looks totally clear to us. But for a cat, their visual acuity for tracking tiny, erratic movements is off the charts. Cats possess a reflective layer behind their retina called the tapetum lucidum. This acts like a mirror, bouncing light back through the retina and giving them incredible night vision. But it also enhances their ability to detect the sharp contrast of tiny objects moving against a background. To your cat, the air in your house isn't empty. It is a swirling soup of microscopic particles, tiny gnats, floating lint, and microscopic dust mites that get kicked up every time you walk across the room. They can see the individual trajectories of these tiny specks as they drift on invisible air currents, mapping a microscopic world we blindly breathe in. This brings us to the hilarious phenomenon of the invisible ninja attack. We have all witnessed it. Your cat is chilling on the floor, and suddenly they leap 4 feet into the air, doing a perfect backflip, and aggressively clap their paws together to catch absolutely nothing. You check their paws, you check the floor, and there is no bug to be found. You naturally assume your cat is hallucinating or just trying to show off their parkour skills. But the truth is, they were actively hunting. They saw a piece of lint or a microscopic dust mite floating through the air, and their predator instincts kicked in instantly. To a cat, any erratic movement, no matter how small, triggers an automatic prey drive response. They aren't crazy. They are just keeping their hunting skills sharp by practicing on the smallest targets available. So, next time your cat violently attacks the empty air above the sofa, just applaud their effort. They are protecting you from the terrifying, invisible dust bunnies that threaten your home every single day. Strange thing number 5 takes us away from vision and into the realm of physics. Changes in barometric pressure. Yes, your cat is basically a living, breathing weather station. While humans rely on apps and meteorologists to tell us when a storm is coming, your cat literally feels the weather changing in their bones, or, more accurately, in their inner ears. A cat's vestibular system, which controls their incredible balance and allows them to always land on their feet, is hypersensitive to changes in atmospheric pressure. When a storm front approaches, the barometric pressure in the air drops. We humans might just feel a slight ache in a bad knee, but for a cat, this drop in pressure causes a distinct physical sensation in their sensitive ear canals. It's a primal warning system that has helped wild felines seek shelter long before the first drop of rain ever falls. They can feel the invisible weight of the atmosphere shifting around them, alerting them to danger hours in advance. Because they can feel these invisible pressure changes, you will often notice bizarre behavioral shifts in your cat right before bad weather hits. There is an old myth that if a cat washes over its ears, it means rain is coming. While that specific action might be a coincidence, their anxiety is real. A sudden drop in pressure can make a cat feel restless or agitated. They might start aggressively grooming themselves to self-soothe, or they might suddenly get a massive case of the zoomies, tearing through the house to burn off the nervous energy caused by the atmospheric shift. On the flip side, some cats will go into survival mode and hide under the bed or in a dark closet long before you even hear thunder. They are feeling the invisible storm building up around them. Honestly, instead of checking the weather channel in the morning, you should probably just look at what your cat is doing. If the fluffy tyrant has barricaded themselves under the sofa, grab your umbrella, because the feline meteorologist is never wrong. Are you ready for strange thing number 6? It is the miraculous phenomenon of selective frequency isolation, better known as the tuna can effect. This is perhaps the most frustrating and impressive superpower your cat possesses. You can be running a loud vacuum cleaner right next to their favorite sleeping chair, and they will remain in a deep, peaceful slumber, completely unbothered by the roaring motor. But if you tiptoe into the kitchen 3 rooms away and silently pull the tiny metal tab on a can of wet food, suddenly your cat is teleported between your legs, meowing aggressively. How is this possible? It's not magic, it's complex acoustic engineering. A cat's brain has the incredible ability to isolate specific, high-value sound frequencies from a sea of background noise. The metallic pop and hiss of a can opening operates on a frequency that perfectly mimics the high-pitched sounds of prey, or in modern terms, the sound of an impending feast. Their brains are hardwired to filter out useless low-frequency noise, like vacuums or thunder, and instantly wake them up for high-frequency rewards. To pull off this incredible acoustic filtering, your cat uses some seriously heavy-duty hardware. Did you know that a cat has 32 separate muscles controlling each individual ear? Compare that to humans, who only have 6, and most of us can't even wiggle our ears. This massive muscle network allows a cat to swivel their ears 180 degrees independently of each other, like twin radar dishes scanning the horizon for signals. When you open that pantry door, one ear instantly swivels toward the kitchen to lock onto the exact coordinates of the sound, calculating the distance and trajectory of the snacks. They can isolate the sound of your specific footsteps, the crinkle of their specific treat bag, and filter out everything else. So the next time you think your cat is just being a heavy sleeper, remember, they are actively ignoring you. Their ears are always on, always scanning, and always judging whether the invisible sounds you are making are actually worth waking up for. Spoiler alert, unless it's food, it's not worth it. Hold on to your hats for strange thing number 7, invisible magnetic fields. We all use GPS to get around town, but your cat comes with a built-in compass that operates on a planetary scale. Scientists have discovered that many animals, including cats, possess a biological phenomenon called magnetoreception. This means they can literally sense the Earth's magnetic fields. It is believed that cats have microscopic bits of iron located in their inner ear tissue that react to the magnetic pull of the North and South poles. While a human could get lost inside a large shopping mall, A cat always knows exactly which way is north. They can feel the invisible grid lines of the planet constantly shifting and aligning around them. This is an ancient survival mechanism that allowed wild felines to establish massive hunting territories without ever losing their way back to their dens. They don't need landmarks. They just follow the invisible magnetic pull of the Earth. This built-in magnetic compass explains one of the most heartwarming yet baffling mysteries of the feline world: the homing instinct. We have all read those incredible news stories about a family moving across the country, their cat escaping, and then somehow walking 200 miles to find their owners months later. How do they do it without a map, road signs, or a smartphone? They use their magnetoreception. By feeling the Earth's magnetic fields, combined with their incredible sense of smell and the angle of the sun, cats can orient themselves across vast, unfamiliar landscapes. They are following an invisible map written in the very physics of the planet. So, when your cat is sitting in the backyard, looking off into the distance, they aren't just daydreaming about catching birds. They might be calibrating their internal compass, downloading the magnetic data of your neighborhood, just in case they ever need to embark on an epic journey. Our human navigation skills are completely pathetic in comparison. Let's bring it in close for strange thing number 8, the sound of human and animal heartbeats. Because a cat's hearing is so incredibly sensitive and tuned to low-frequency vibrations as well as high ones, they can hear the rhythmic beating of hearts. In the wild, this allows them to detect a terrified, hiding mouse just by the rapid thumping of its tiny heart beneath the brush. But in your living room, this superpower is directed at you. When your cat comes up and lays directly on your chest, right over your heart, they aren't just trying to suffocate you in your sleep, though sometimes it feels that way. They are actually seeking out the acoustic comfort of your heartbeat. They can hear and feel the rhythm of your internal organs. To a cat, a steady, calm heartbeat is a sign of safety and security. It reminds them of sleeping against their mother as a kitten. Furthermore, because they can hear these internal rhythms, they know exactly when you are stressed, angry, or sick because your heart rate changes. They are reading your invisible vital signs. Moving on to strange thing number 9, the notorious giggles and the phenomenon of micro-shadows. The internet has coined the term giggles to describe the invisible, imaginary creatures that cats seem to randomly hunt on the ceiling and walls. But science tells us that giggles are actually real, just not in the way we think. Cats have incredibly high photosensitivity, meaning their eyes require only 1/6 of the light that human eyes need to function. Because their eyes pull in so much light, they are capable of detecting microscopic changes in illumination and tiny, fleeting microshadows. For example, a car driving by 3 blocks away might cause a minuscule shift in the ambient light reflecting off your living room window, casting a microscopic, moving shadow across the ceiling. Your human eyes are far too weak to register this tiny change in contrast. But your cat's eyes? They track that tiny, moving microshadow as if it were a massive, glowing laser pointer. This extreme sensitivity to light shifts perfectly explains the terrifying 3 a.m. wall-staring contests. When your cat looks like they are having a standoff with a demon in the corner of your bedroom, they are actually just reacting to complex, microscopic interplays of light. It could be the headlights of a distant plane, a tiny dust mite passing in front of a nightlight, or the moonlight shifting behind a cloud, creating a tiny ripple of shadow in the corner of the room. To your cat, these microshadows look like scurrying bugs or creeping predators. They go into full defense mode, eyes wide, tail twitching, ready to do battle with the shifting light. So, the good news is, your house is probably not haunted by evil spirits. The bad news is, your cat is going to wake you up at 3 a.m. anyway, because they have sworn an oath to protect your family from the terrifying, invisible micro-shadows that dance across your ceiling. Give them a treat for their bravery. Get ready for some serious science with strange thing number 10. Chemical trails and pheromones. Let's talk about that weird face your cat makes. You know the one. They sniff a blanket, someone's shoe, or another cat, and suddenly their mouth hangs open, their eyes glaze over, and they look absolutely flabbergasted. It's hilarious, but they aren't actually judging your foot odour. This is called the Feline response, and it's a way of utilising a secret, superhero-level sensory tool called the Jacobson's organ, or vomeronasal organ. Located in the roof of their mouth, right behind their front teeth, this organ is a biological marvel that sits perfectly between the senses of smell and taste. When your cat drops their jaw, they are literally pulling air into this organ to analyze complex chemical compounds called pheromones. While we humans walk into a room and maybe smell dinner cooking, your cat is downloading an entire invisible encyclopedia of chemical data. They are literally tasting the unseen chemical messages in the air. By tasting the air with their Jacobson's organ, cats can read the neighborhood gossip like they are scrolling through social media. When your cat sniffs a fire hydrant or a fence post outside, they aren't just smelling dog pee. They are reading a highly detailed biological email. They can tell exactly what animal left the scent, what gender they were, if they were sick or healthy, if they were stressed out, and exactly how many hours ago they passed by. They can even read your chemical changes. If you are frightened, sweating, or experiencing hormonal changes, your cat can literally taste the difference in your chemical aura. They see the world as a complex tapestry of invisible chemical trails overlapping each other. So, the next time your fluffy little weirdo smells your gym bag and makes that open-mouthed, stinky face, remember, they aren't disgusted by you. They are just reading the invisible chemical newspaper that is floating right in front of your oblivious human nose. Finally, we reach strange thing number 11, the hum of electrical currents in wires. You live your entire life surrounded by electricity. Wires run behind your drywall, power cords snake behind your television, and chargers are plugged into every outlet. To you, unless something sparks, electricity is completely silent and invisible. But to a cat, the modern human home is buzzing, humming, and vibrating with electrical energy. Alternating current, AC electricity, runs at a specific frequency, usually 50 or 60 Hz. As electricity flows through wires, it creates a very faint, high-frequency hum and a microscopic, physical vibration. Thanks to a cat's ultra-sensitive hearing and their sensitive whiskers that can detect minute changes in air currents and vibrations, they can actually hear and feel the electricity moving through your walls and cords. This is why your cat might seem weirdly obsessed with chewing on one specific, expensive Apple charger, but ignores a disconnected rope. They can hear the wire singing with energy, and their predatory brain tells them to attack the buzzing snake. They are literally hunting your electricity. And there you have it, folks. The secret has been revealed. Now you know exactly what is going on inside that chaotic, adorable, fluffy little head of theirs. From psychedelic ultraviolet visions and the giggling of hidden mice to tasting invisible chemical gossip and hunting microscopic shadows. Your cat is living in a high-definition, action-packed world that we humans can't even fathom. The next time they stare blankly at a wall, run away from a flashing light, or do a backflip to catch a dust bunny, don't call them crazy. Respect the fact that you are living with a highly evolved, supersensory ninja who just happens to enjoy sleeping in your clean laundry. Despite all their weird quirks, late-night zoomies and phantom ghost hunting sessions, we wouldn't trade our feline overlords for anything in the world. They bring magic into our dull, human lives. If this video blew your mind, please hit that like button, share it with another cat parent who thinks their pet is broken, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing animal secrets. Now it's your turn. Which of these 11 strange things do you think your cat experiences the most? Let us know in the comments down below.